Hello, Bobby Torres of Frightbox recording here. So the question is, are the preamps that are built right into your interface good enough for tracking pro-sounding records at home? The answer is hell yeah. More than good enough, and I'm gonna tell you why. The truth is, any preamp that's built into pretty much any interface is 100% transparent, meaning they have no sound. What you put in is what you get out. And this is coming from a guy that owns a lot of interfaces by all different brands. I own interfaces by, this one's a Steinberg, Behringer, Avid, Motu, Mackie. I own a bunch of all different price ranges, all different interfaces, and the truth is they all sound exactly the same. I've even punched in on the same track with multiple interfaces, like let's say a vocal track or guitar track, and I couldn't even tell after the fact which part was tracked on which interface because all of the interfaces sound exactly the same. That is the truth. They are all transparent, meaning they have no color, they have no sound, what you put in is what you get out. And I would go as far as to say that even a $50 single channel interface is more than good enough for tracking professional sounding vocals and guitars or anything else at your home studio. Now you may be wondering, why do certain interfaces cost so much and other ones are cheap? And the truth is, it really comes down to build quality and features. For example, this Steinberg here, from what I remember, was around a $200–300 interface. There are 2-channel interfaces that are under $100. This thing is built like a tank. I've literally dropped this thing multiple times and it's still kicking. And it's just a great all-around functional interface. If you buy a super duper cheap one, it will get the job done, but it may not be that durable. The higher end preamps obviously are gonna be built way better, they're gonna last longer, and they may have a ton of features that you may or may not need. For example, some of my higher end preamps have built-in mixers, so you can actually use them for live sound without even having to use a DAW. They also have 48-volt phantom power on each individual channel. You have more routing options, more I/O, more inputs, more outputs, but at the end of the day, they all sound exactly the same. I know this is gonna piss off a lot of gearheads, especially people that have spent a lot of money on gear, but they're all transparent. So you might be asking yourself, why do people spend so much money on, standalone analog preamps, like, transformer-based or tube preamps, if, the stock ones in my interface are more than good enough? And the answer is, these preamps do not color the sound at all. They're completely transparent. High-end vintage style preamps color your sound. And what I mean by color your sound is they might saturate the sound a little, distort it in a pleasing way. The frequency response might be affected. The preamp itself might include more bells and whistles, like a built-in high-pass filter, so on and so forth. So high-end preamps do have their place, but the truth is you do not need them. You can record clean and affect it after the fact. There are tons of engineers out there recording clean through a clean preamp and adding color to the tracks after the fact within their DAW. There is a phenomenal video by an acoustician by the name of Ethen. I'm gonna leave a link to the video within this video's description. Ethen is an acoustician and he takes the time and breaks down and debunks so many audio myths that people still believe to this day. And I highly recommend watching his video. If you're the type of person that's obsessed with gear, it'll save you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Me personally, I don't give a f about gear. And I definitely don't give a f about preamps. I use high-end preamps. I use cheap preamps. For me, I'll track a record in someone's basement through a Behringer preamp, or I'll track a record in $1 million studio with high-end vintage style preamps. Because at the end of the day, I understand the difference. I understand if I track through preamps that have color, like a high-end vintage style preamp, I will mix my song accordingly. If the preamp is darker and has a nice pleasing warmth to it, I won't have to cut as much high-end in the tracks. I won't have to use as much saturation in my mix. If I record clean, which many of us do these days with great success, then I will have to keep my high end in check, like I've mentioned in previous videos, and I will add saturation within the mix after the fact. It honestly makes no difference to me. They are just tools, and you have to use the tools accordingly. But at the end of the day, especially in 2019, this has been the case for the past 15 years, but especially today in 2019, you do not need high-end preamps. If you're rich and you want them, they do look cool. Maybe they impress clients, but at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. The thing that's gonna make the difference is your skill level, not the preamp. Trust me. Now I know this is gonna piss off a lot of gearheads. Some people treat gear almost like it's a religion, but I'm just speaking the truth. Take a look at an engineer like Joey Sturgis. The guy was tracking platinum albums in a basement with a basic preamp and PC back in the mid-2000s. It wasn't stopping him, and not using high-end preamps doesn't have to stop you. If you have found this video helpful, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And don't forget to click the little bell icon in order to be notified every time I upload one of my weekly videos on all things metal and rock production. You can both like and follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Links are in the description below. And if you would like to download my free quick EQ guide that contains all my EQ settings that I always return to when starting a mix, there is a link below within the video's description. Till next time, Happy recording.